Brian Carper here with your tip of the week. This week we're going to be talking about spinnerbait blades and the importance of each type of blade and when they are appropriate to use. Here we have three different spinnerbaits. We have one with a tandem. It's a willow leaf, which is the diamond blades, and a small Colorado blade. We have a double Colorado blades, and we have double willow blades. And I'll start with the willow blade. A lot of times when you see the bait where you're fishing clear water and the bait is just piled up, you want to throw a double willow leaf, especially in the silver. They come with gold blades. I recommend the silver just so it imitates the shad. But this is going to put off a lot of flash. This is to catch the eye of the bass in the middle of those shad. Or if there's not a lot of shad around and you're just fishing in really clear water. This has a lot of pop to it and goes through the water, very flashy, and attracts the bass wherever you use it. But in the shad, you see a lot of people throwing these just to mimic the bait there. So these are really good for clear water, and if there is bait present, it's good for that as well. The other one here is a Colorado blade. These are the big round blades, and you want to use these primarily when it's muddy. This doesn't put off a lot of flash. It does flash obviously when you throw it when the sun's out, but the most important aspect of this is the shape of the blade. When these things turn, they put off a lot of vibration. You can really feel this bait when you're reeling it in. As you're reeling it in, it's just whoa, 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 whoa. It's just thumping, and that's putting off a lot of vibration, and it's really attracting the bass when the water's muddy, which goes into why we like to throw these. These blades are thrown a lot when the clarity is poor, maybe after a storm or some runoff has come into the lake, and the clarity is very low visibility, maybe a foot, maybe less. You want your Colorado blades there so they can not only see the flash, which you will have a flash appeal with this, but it will also put off the loud vibration which those bass can pick up with the lateral line that runs down the side of the bass's body. So if you're fishing in muddy water, you want to have Colorado blades. You will 100% get less bites if you throw willow leaf blades in muddy water. So that's when you want these. You can use just one if it's maybe stained and you want to just try one. If you really want some good action, or it's really muddy and you want to get as much as you can out of your bait, use two. It has twice the vibration, and you usually reel these really slow. Let the bass figure out where they're at. Let them feel it. And this is a dynamite lure for the muddy water when you're fishing a little bit cooler, maybe for those bass that aren't chasing bait or can't see the willow leaf blades. The second one, or the third one here, which is probably the most popular across the country, if you're not in really clear water and you're using the willow leaf blades, and you're not in muddy water and you don't necessarily have to use the Colorado blades. This is a tandem with a willow leaf and a Colorado. Now these blades come with many different sizes. You can have a really large willow leaf. You can have a really large Colorado. Sometimes this is gold and this is silver, or this is silver, this is gold. You can mismatch and play with that. I haven't had seen a big difference or in the color changes in the blades. Usually what it comes with I use as far as the color. But the importance is that maybe it's stained water, 2-3 feet visibility, and you want to get some thumping action for some vibration, and you want to get a lot of flash on the willows. So this is what you see a lot of guys throwing if it's not one or the other. So I recommend probably starting with this until you come into an area or you're fishing a certain time of the year where it's super clear or it's super muddy. Then I would switch. So this is the one that you're probably going to throw most of the time. Lastly, special conditions. These are colored blades. I don't throw these colored blades too much unless the water's muddy. Primarily, you can do it when it's clear, but primarily when it's muddy and there's no sun. You will get more pop and more attraction and visibility from these colored blades than you will from the gold and the silver blades when there's no sun. It's hard to beat those flashing baits when it's out, the sun's out, but if you're fishing somewhere you know there's bass there, you've been catching them on a spinnerbait maybe a couple days prior or a week prior, and you go out there and it's sunny, or you go out there and the sun's not out, get you a couple colored blades. White, chartreuse are both my favorite, and throw that. They don't think because it's painted you won't catch any fish or that it's kind of a gimmick bait. These will catch a lot of fish on those cloudy days, so always have one of these in your box as well. That's your tip of the week from Brian Carper, and I hope you learned something about spinnerbait blades today.